Hey everybody, today is June 14th, 2026, and you're listening to the While We Still Can podcast. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Pride Month and B, happy Obama Appreciation Day. That's probably what's most
Yay!
significant about today's date. So, welcome back everybody. I'm Lisa. We've got Tina here, and of course our pal Tony, Mr. Internet Sleuth Extraordinaire. So, we've got a lot to catch up on this week. Every week has been crazier than the next. I I think everybody kind of knows about some a FedEx package that showed up on Tony's doorstep a couple what is it? Oh, just a week
Well,
ago?
only a week ago,
Oh my God,
yesterday.
it feels like a
A
month,
week ago,
two
yesterday.
months. Yeah.
They
It
turned
feels
on
like
the
forever
CERN
ago. I mean,
collider
this week
again.
is
Fuck.
So that's kind of a big deal, sort of. I mean, yes and no. But let's open with that and discuss that, and then we'll go from there.
so, a week ago yesterday, I get a doorbell and it's about 9:30 in the morning and I realize who the heck's coming to my house at 9:30 in the morning. I go up front and uh, there's a package out front and I see the FedEx truck leaving and I open it up and I'm like, oh, there's 6-page document in there and I thought, oh, Paulo maybe decided to be an asshole and sue me,
Yeah.
because I didn't respond to his cease and desist, which I was sent through email on May 4th. And just to clarify, on that cease and desist, they had my address wrong. It actually was my neighbor's address on the cease and desist. So, but that came electronically. But somehow last week when I got these documents, the address was correct, obviously, because FedEx brought it to me. And when I looked at it more closely, it was a demand letter from the President of the United States and First Lady uh, telling me not only to apologize and retract, but they actually want me to compensate them too.
Shut up. Shut
Compensate.
up. Compensate them.
You need
Yes.
to apologize. Apollo. Sorry. I had
Apologize.
to.
Yes,
I had to. I had to.
apologize.
I'm done.
I will
I'm done.
not
Yeah.
Sorry.
apologize.
Yeah.
So it's been a
Okay,
crazy week.
so they're obsessed with you. What did this letter say? What were they mad about? What are we in trouble for?
I thought it was interesting that Trump inserted himself into this whole situation specifically by noting two specific posts of mine from Twitter.
Yeah.
So this is the document you can see that I got, and at the top it says Mr. Gonzalez. And let me clear something up with that. A bunch of these stupid trolls, they're like, are you Anthony Andrews or Mr. Gonzalez or Tony Gonzalez or Anthony Gonzalez? I'm like, I'm all of the above for various reasons that I've
Yes.
explained in the past. Okay? So anyway, so Trump decided to insert himself, and as you can see at the bottom of the page, he doesn't like that particular tweet of mine.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna read it. Read it. Go ahead. Read it.
it, I posted, and this was a while back. I mean, I think this was
Yeah.
probably at least 6 months ago. So somebody was definitely digging. Trump rapes children. Please release the full Epstein files, and we can find that.
Retract. I will retract
Yes.
if you can show me all the black box pages. But you haven't. So you could easily clear this up.
And we could say alleged until he's tried and convicted, but that would require an investigation, which is really all we ask. Investigate it, do it properly, not with your
So
own
if we
justice
have to
system.
post this on the internet so that you get mad enough that you sue, so we can have that investigation, but it doesn't really seem like they want that. But keep going.
Well, and
Finish your
they
post.
never want that. Anytime this happens, they always flip on it. Other than like ABC, who actually that particular lawyer is the one that sued ABC for Trump. So this guy that sent me the demand letter is not just some one-off lawyer. Just like the guy that sent me the cease and desist from Paulo Zampoli happened to be the same lawyer that represented Jean-Luc Brunel in the past. So it's hilarious how obvious they are about all of this craziness. And the second line here, well, let's go back to the rapes children part. All the time we keep getting new information coming out of the Epstein files about Trump doing various things with children, 13-year-old girls, nipples, different things like that. So I have zero doubt, given the cover-up of what's happened, that once we do gain access to the rest of the files, which would be required for this lawsuit.
Right.
And
Maybe
again,
I should do them back.
that information was, somebody made a deposition or someone put down in writing that claim.
Yes, and this is before Trump was even president. So, this is, they weren't just trying to, a lot of people talk also about the fact that, oh, well, they're making these stories up because now he's president. No, they're making it
Predates
up
that by quite some time.
because he was president, and it's time for the world to know what kind of man he is. Period.
Well, and the thing about those type of claims, like people are like, oh, they're lying. I'm not saying that there has never been but to be re-traumatized by talking about this and having half of the United States troll your ass about it, like no one's doing that. No one's doing that. Just like no one's having 10-month abortions. Okay. No, like if it happens, there is clearly a reason. It's not like, I don't know.
I call for an 80-year abortion today.
80-year.
80. A post-birth.
Yes,
Year.
80-year post-birth abortion today. Trump sells secrets. Is the second line.
Okay, that's the other one that you were. That was their allegation that was damaging.
Yes. Well, what's damaging to me is the fact that in Trump's indictment, it's clear that he obstructed justice, tried to destroy evidence, and in fact showed secrets to people who don't have access to those secrets. After, including himself, didn't have the clearance to even have those secrets in his possession. And then he's done everything in his power to cover it up by doing whatever to the judge, offering a Supreme Court position in the future or whatever else it is, allegedly.
Flooding the whole Mar-a-Lago so all the computers
Not allowed,
break.
hiding Jack Smith's Volume 2. So
Yeah, we
that
want Volume 2.
discovery would require full Volume 2 disclosure. Okay? After that, I put Trump steals from Americans. How much has he made since he became president last year again? I think it was $3 billion.
It's a lot.
10 billion. And what's this word a piece that means nothing that he just stole $10 billion for? And what's this $1.776 billion? If in fact I do a countersuit in the future, it will be for $1.776 billion, because I would give that back to the nation.
The people.
The people. I would give it to charities. I would do everything I can to help people.
And then still followers are, at this point, the folks that have been continued to be, have their head in the sand about it, like, but he gives up his salary. Oh
my God.
Come on, man.
The salary is like $400,000.
Exactly. Or you can give that up, which again, I'd like to see some receipts for that too, that it didn't go to some charity that actually his family's in control over some stupid thing, hypothetically. But so the grift goes on and on and on and on and on.
And then the last thing I put on, the fourth line on there is Trump lies daily. How can you argue that whatsoever? I mean,
how did you spell it? Because maybe you meant that he lies down. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know your mind, Tony. How do they?
Lies. All you need is thousands of hours of video of him in front of cameras to prove that.
Well, and nothing
they were alternative facts. Alternative facts. Get it right.
If you if at any point open the internet and start reading, you're going to find a lot of people that have said a lot of worse things than what you have just said or read to us.
And at the end, I just repeated it and I said, rapes, sells, steals, lies.
Okay, we'll give that alleged till it's tried in court, but not the children part, but he is an adjudicated rapist from the E. Jean Carroll trial.
Yep, absolutely.
Even though they're suing her for for raping her.
But the fact is, that's what the court said.
And
yeah.
Now, maybe you guys could clear this up, because then a lot of people say, well,
it was civil.
Inserting a finger is not rape.
No, for God's sake.
It's sexual assault. Is sexual assault not rape? Sexual abuse not rape? Forced entry not rape?
The fact that we have to split these hairs just pisses me off.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Well, what I'm telling you is when people start that conversation, they're telling you exactly who they are, and what they are is not a safe person for you to be around. So, people
Well,
are
and
telling us, I know we have to grieve it, but it's the safest way.
if let's flip it around. The person that's saying that to you, to us, to online, if that happened to them and something went in one of their orifices, would they still want to like sit there and debate whether it's wrong or not? Or would they maybe want to sit down and STF you?
It
right?
depends on if it was Obama or Joe Biden, okay? If it was them, then, we're doing a lawsuit. Otherwise, we're cool.
Okay.
So the second post that he didn't like was what indicated the fact that basically I was saying that if they're willing to murder a white male VA ICU nurse for protecting a woman, they won't think twice about shooting you or me. Pull your heads out of your asses. Fuck Trump. Fuck MAGA.
Which is an opinion, by the way.
But, they isn't necessarily Trump. And, basically what the statement after that they put was, these statements are false because President Trump has never engaged in any of the crimes or behavior that you have falsely and wrongly accused him of.
But you said they, so
Yeah.
that doesn't
And-
even make sense.
Yeah. And, he's been accused of plenty of other crimes and convicted of 34.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, yeah
34,
that's looks,
yeah, 34
dude,
counts.
that sounds like it was written by my 10-year-old, okay? My mom was mean. I'm calling CPS.
Well, somebody pointed out that when they indicate you, when they write YOU in this document towards me, they put a capital letter in the Y. And somebody indicated that makes me a non-entity in their eyes, a
non-entity
in their eyes, because they're saying they're YOU, they're emphasizing me as an entity itself. I don't quite understand, but it does make a little sense when you think about it. Why did they focus on that? And I found it interesting, we'll get to the end later, but about the fact that, they all caps to me, about,
Howdies.
yes,
Yeah.
please govern yourself accordingly.
Govern yourself accordingly.
Govern yourself accordingly.
That sounds like something
title.
like an
That's the
English
title.
nanny would say. You need to govern
Yeah.
yourself accordingly.
These motherfuckers. Okay, thank you for the suggestion.
Yes.
I'm fine. I didn't ask.
So those,
Yeah.
so those two the tweets were in the demand letter regarding Trump that he'd insert himself at the beginning of, and then it goes into the tweets about Melania and the other stuff about Melania.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, unless you guys want to, I don't think we need to. We can talk more about this later. We've got plenty of other stuff going on.
Sure.
to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
worried about this
Yeah.
letter. Let's just be
Yeah,
clear
yeah.
about that. I'm prepared going forward. I'm just a normal American citizen
Right.
that the president has targeted because I speak truth.
And if you become worried, you got plenty of legal options. So,
Yes, absolutely. So,
okay, very good.
moving on, as we progressed through the week after that occurred, on Wednesday, I was expecting a possible news story to drop about me having been targeted by a well-known, high-profile organization, and literally up until what I believed was the moment it was going to be posted, we were all ready to go. I had been told that we were good to go, and then all of a sudden, last minute on Wednesday morning, the decision had been changed, and they decided not to post the story for various reasons. I'm not going to go into details about the organization or anything like that, but I think it's very clear, given the fact that now we are 8 days out, and I've been very transparent and vocal about this, that this should be, and I'm not seeking a spotlight for myself. You guys know that more than anything. I'm just doing what I do well, which is share information, gather information, engage individuals involved in these types of things. And 8 days later, it's crickets from everyone. And I've reached out to, and plenty of other people in my feed, high profile, low profile. I've reached out to plenty of journalists, high profile, plenty of organizations, plenty of celebrities, and it's complete crickets out there. And this
And the problem with this is that I don't understand with other journalists not wanting to take this head on is it's going to be them next. It's going to be all of us next. What if they are targeting Tony for these certain things? It's very funny. None of the trafficking allegations really bother them, but the don't you say I lie. But like it's not just going to be Tony on Twitter, okay? It's going to be me. It's going to be you. It's going to be all of the journalists that are not covering this for you.
And how come you have to have more balls than they do? Then,
I think part of it, honestly, is because I don't have anything to lose. I have stuff to
Right.
do.
Yeah.
right?
I am only trying to help our nation.
And that's exactly why I think that we've had any success is because it's very clear that we're paying to do this, okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am not monetizing in any way. I have a GoFundMe that I barely promote here and there just because of circumstances I'm in for various reasons. But
Well,
Right.
personally, I'm here in spite of any attention that we may get, not because of it. I'm perfectly happy elsewhere when attention comes around. So,
so Wednesday, that was the beginning of Wednesday. Then, Becca Day, who has a large presence on TikTok, she had been working on a Substack that I had helped a little bit with, and a couple other people in our group had helped her with, dealing with Paula Zampoli's emails that were discovered by Amanda because Paulo forwarded emails to Amanda's email for 20 years, 10, 15 years at least. And, and she doesn't even know why. I mean, she told me she was kind of always annoyed by the fact that he would just forward things to her because it just junked up her inbox. And,
Right.
and she never actually even opened any of them. And then when she talked to, I believe, Rep. Stansberry recently from the Congressional Oversight Committee, they told her to look at those emails. So she started looking at them, and she found the 10 emails that were direct correspondence between him and Ghislaine Maxwell, talking about Terramar, which again, that's a whole other day.
so let's back up and look at this from the distance here. So here we are in 2026, and that Government Oversight Committee, what's the specific title of it?
Congressional Oversight.
Congressional Oversight is getting information from individual citizen journalists like you and Becca Day. I mean, that's fantastic, but where, again, I blame the media.
We had an FBI.
Yeah, right?
Cash
Maybe
Patel's looking
they're-
two different ways. He ain't finding shit.
Maybe it's just the FB, because clearly they're not investigating anything anymore.
Yeah.
They're just some
The
bureau.
Federal Bureau of covering shit up.
I have submitted two.
CSU.
When
Yeah.
you call the FBI, let's make this clear too, because there's a lot of back and forth about all these FBI FD 302s in the Epstein files, and that's an actual submitted complaint to the FBI. And when you do that, when you call the FBI, I've done it twice, okay, for two different instances.
As one will.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. When you call the FBI, you literally don't actually talk to anybody right away. It actually takes you through a process of you have to verify yourself to them. Because that probably deters crazies from
Yeah.
People.
Well, and we recognize that there are people that call in false claims. That's going to happen.
But you have to actually literally tell them who you are, give them your address, give them your phone number, and if I recall, even your social security number.
Okay.
Yeah, to the FBI.
But if 30-some people call about the same thing, you'd think that they'd have this
Yeah,
be
you
obligated to open an investigation, and that maybe that
There
would
is
go
not.
someplace.
There's
I
not
mean,
hundreds
clearly
of
they don't.
claims that you raped people.
Yeah.
And even if half, you know what I'm saying? There's a pattern. I don't know. Pattern recognition. My bad.
Well, the first time I called the FBI was just because I just felt somebody needed to look at Artem Klushin. And this was
Okay.
after
Okay.
I had numerous engagements with him after he he spent 3 days trying to discredit me because of that Krasnov thread I wrote. That was, the view count was stopped on by Elon, and of course, I have receipts for all of this that show this. And even though that account was nuked eventually last year, and nothing, crickets. I didn't get anything back from the FBI, but I shared the information. The other time I called the FBI is one of your favorite subjects that eventually I do believe we'll circle that back to.
Absolutely. I'm waiting.
Which is being contacted by somebody claiming to be Johnny Gosh, who was on his...
Johnny Gosh.
Johnny Gosh!
Gosh, we've come full circle.
Yeah, we have come full circle. Yep. So, and there's still
Gosh.
something there. I still have that phone number, and he's only like an hour away from me here. The guy.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we need to go.
Yeah. So,
Find Johnny! Operation Find Johnny!
so yes. So there's obviously a lot of question about what's going on at the FBI, what's been going on at the FBI. I think even during Biden's term, I think there's
Right.
a lot of cover up. And not necessarily driven by Biden, but there's a lot of infestation that happened during Trump's term, and that I think has always been kind of an undercurrent of everything within our organizations now, where there's been some sabotage that's likely occurred to stop people. I mean, look what they're trying to do right now to prevent Trump and his family from ever being held accountable for any financial
Right.
stuff.
Absolutely.
And then apparently, who's the current director of FBI? That one guy, not FBI, but the Ag Attorney General, Todd Blanche.
Todd Blanche, yeah.
He is known to be also putting in other stopgaps in place legally that will prevent any investigations in the future. So,
Which brings us to, the president this week said, somebody asked him about if the state of affairs was going to be detrimental for Republicans at the midterm election time. And he said, I don't care about the midterm elections, or I paraphrase. So
Much like he said, I don't care about inflation.
financial
So
situation.
does that mean, is it like the last election where he wasn't super worked up about it because he knew the cards were going to fall his way no matter what?
I believe so.
Or
Yeah.
is he just doesn't care because he is an alleged sociopath and he doesn't care about anything but himself? But even then he should, because
Go
like,
with one. I'm going to go with one.
And I think if we look back at even the leading up to the 2024 election, there's plenty of indications that he knew the jig was up already. And he knew that he had it in the bag already. I mean, we already
exactly.
talked about all of that, and I think
Right.
and even if it's not in the bag, so to say, going into the 2026 elections, he's also got a backup plan and prepared to not give up power. I mean, I
Exactly.
have zero doubt about that whatsoever. Mark my words right now.
Right.
Trump is not giving up power willingly.
Right.
Shit on the walls.
Yes.
Because they
So
lost.
yeah, like, what's the plan? Are they just going to refuse to seat we've talked about this before, the newly elected individuals that could then, do stuff? Or are we going to run into our bunker and just ignore it, like down in a hole? Or are we going to try to escape to another country and leave the mess behind? Maybe he can crash with Peter Thiel in South America.
Rat line to Argentina.
I'm just wondering why, and I wonder why no one else is concerned about that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter why or how they try to not care about that, to what end, but what are we going to do about that?
I'm finding, this has to be a ground up movement.
Absolutely.
Has to be a ground up movement. And what I'm finding in real life is, in my work environment, is I am going out of my way, and I know, Tina, you do this excessively well, to educate people about what's going on. And, I'm kind of giving them a back history of what I'm specifically dealing with, because it's actually making them pay a little bit more attention. And
Yeah.
now I think I'm finally building a groundswell of at least people in my community that are starting to understand the repercussions of what we're dealing with. And when I've had the opportunity to talk to people individually, and every opportunity I can, I let them know. I said, it's up to you guys. I said,
This is off for us.
it's up to all of us. And I'm
Absolutely.
with the one with the loudspeaker right now. I mean, and I think that's one of the things I posted about earlier this week is, when they did that demand letter to me, just like with Paula's cease and desist letter that he sent to me, they really didn't know that they were giving the loudspeaker to the wrong person as far as
Right.
because I mean, I've spent years investigating things. I've got thousands of receipts for everything from Russian conspiracy, collusion, coordination to the America Party for Elon Musk to the FBI in New York City. I mean, I've been directly engaging with people having to do with all of this stuff long before Amanda came on my radar.
Right. They Streisand
Right.
affected themselves, didn't they?
Oh, big time, big time. So, going back to Wednesday real quick.
Yeah.
So we were working on this, and Becca primarily was working on this. I'm not going to take that credit. But she had this Substack article that was going to drop, and a big, big article.
It is a big informative article about
Yes,
a lot of
very
different
good.
people.
Absolutely.
Her stuff's like encyclopedic. It's amazing. But anyway, go ahead.
It's like my brain on paper, because I can't put it
Yeah.
on paper the way she does.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean, she's
right.
amazing.
It's
I mean,
a real
I
gift
give
she
her
has there.
tons of credit. And, but her TikTok account, which she has 1.5 million followers, was banned on Wednesday.
With no previous
Right.
checks.
No
There
warnings.
was no warning, no anything. She just
Just like
one
my-
day was gone. Yeah.
Just like when my ex account got nuked last year, I got no warning or nothing. And fortunately, she has kind of some inside track with TikTok because of some people she now knows because of her profile being so big.
Okay.
She was able to restore it by the next day. The last time she had been suspended or banned, it took her 2 weeks to get it back.
Wow. Okay.
But another thing that happened that afternoon was while she was in the middle, I mean, she was literally communicating with us. Okay, I've got about an hour left before I'm going to drop that story, and Substack went down.
Substack went down?
Yep. Yes, it did.
Substack went down.
Oh my God.
And she was worried that she was going to lose everything. I mean, I've got a chat showing, guys, Substack
Yeah.
went down. I'm worried about everything I've done being erased. Fortunately, when it came back up it wasn't very long that it was down. Everything was there and she was fine. But that was awfully sus.
Right.
So then later in the evening, late afternoon, early evening, I checked Mr. Zampoli's Instagram feed, as I often do, to see what stupid shit he's up to today, and who he's playing poser with today, and he had posted specifically about Amanda's account being banned, and
You mean Becca? Becca.
Becca's account being banned, and to some extent bragged about it.
He did, straight
To a
up.
point where you can assume he had some part in it. Given all of these circumstances leading up to where we are today, Paula continues to use the arms of the White House to cover his own ass, cover Melania's ass, and cover
They
the
go
president.
way back.
I mean, we're talking, just within the last few months, cease and desist letters, suspended accounts, veiled threats, and then I just dropped breaking news today, which
Okay.
two different.
Ba-bum.
The first thing I dropped had to do with, we all know that Amanda Angaro's phone that was seized when she was arrested last June in Aventura, Florida. Her and her husband were arrested for alleged fraud at his $1 million business that he's been building over the years. They were arrested after an investigation, and their phones were seized by the Aventura Police Department about, 3 weeks ago, I think. Again, we don't know time anymore. Amanda was looking for her earbuds or something, and you can do, you have your Find My Earbuds, Find My Phone, all of this, and her phone had pinged 6 days earlier at Paula Zampoli's New York City residence. The same phone that was seized by the Aventura Police Department. So the story up to literally this morning was that Paulo gained access from the Aventura Police Department of that phone. Now, somebody had told me, well, maybe it was in under his account and they just gave it to him after they were done with it or whatever. I'm like, no, that's complete bullshit. That's, the trial hasn't even occurred yet, and nobody's going to give up that type of evidence, period.
Hold on.
Yes.
Question from the crowd. So he knows that he forwarded all of those emails. Do you think that is why he really needed that phone?
I do. I thought about it a little bit. I think maybe but honestly, I think he's stupid. My honest opinion is he didn't think anything of it. I don't think the emails had anything to do with it. I think he was just trying to gain access to her phone.
Okay.
Just because of that guy, And so what I learned today, and I shared it on Twitter, is from the police reports. I had the 36-page full police reports concerning Amanda and Zhao. And on one of those pages, it mentions that the phone was given to Homeland Security.
Interesting. So he would have had to obtain the phone from Homeland Security.
And remember,
he just texted Christy Nome because he had Christy throw her in ICE detention.
Well, and remember, it was Homeland Security who he called when Amanda was arrested to ensure that she was detained by ICE before she had the opportunity to post bond. There's also, I'm also...
How do we know that? Remind me how we know that. Did they tell Amanda that?
My brain's broke right now. New York Times.
Okay.
Yeah, New York Times was the one that told us that he called David Venturella, and at the time he was a deputy ICE director. Now he is acting ICE director. Yeah. Okay, acting director of ICE. Paulo called him directly, and this was as reported by the New York Times several weeks ago, and ensured that Amanda was taken into custody by ICE from law enforcement, where she spent 3.5 months. And I'm going to share something new here that nobody knows is during her time in captivity, they were threatening her with, they were doing everything they could to try to get her sent to a prison or something like that. I mean, their goal was to incarcerate her in a way that she couldn't do anything about the custody of her son. With the second breaking news that I shared today, it all paints a very clear picture, which just before we started this podcast, I was able to share the fact that I know for a fact that Paulo indicated that if Zhao, Amanda's husband, divorces her, all charges will be dropped, and Paulo will put Amanda up in a New York City apartment. I mean, if that's not a narcissistic psychopath who wants to control every possible outcome to benefit himself, I don't know what is. I mean, all of this paints an extremely clear picture of corruption and aiding and abetting by the White House of this behavior. I mean, there's no way that Donald Trump and Melania Trump don't know that Paulo has been doing these things. There's just zero way. And if they do not know, then that in itself is criminal, as far as I'm concerned.
No, we know that they know, because why would Melania do that big press conference? Mm-hmm. Like, they know what's going on, because we're getting, Tony is getting these letters. Melania is fucking doing press conferences randomly, so...
And let me put this all a little bit into kind of a very clean perspective for everybody, just so they understand. So the major media sources throughout the United States refuse to cover any of this, although we have a White House special envoy who was with J.D. Vance in Hungary last month or so ago, using the power of the White House to have people detained by ICE to attempt to shut them up through cease and desists, who has had people suspended from TikTok. And this is all relates to Melania's relationship with Epstein and Melania's relationship with the man who brought her to the United States, Paolo Zampoli, going back to the 90s. Okay? And mainstream media refuses to touch it. Refuses to touch it.
Right.
And
So if there's any international media that happens to hear this,
yes.
Yes,
DM Tony.
please.
Well,
we
Tony.
just and again, all of this information is publicly available,
Yeah.
and they are literally mad and being middle schoolers and kicking people off social media because we can collect some receipts.
Mm-hmm.
And the question I have is, there's a lot of bad stuff that's already out there in the public domain. There's a lot of horrible things in the Epstein files that we've been allowed to see thus far. So what else could there possibly be that's worth all this time and energy on these folks' parts to muzzle?
Well, and I think the one thing to think about is I always go back to Occam's razor, which is
the
the most
simplest.
The simplest
solution.
is the easiest solution. And, nearly everything that there were rumors about being true turns out 99% of the time to actually be true at some point as we go forward. And I keep telling people, and I've said the last several days especially, is we don't need any more evidence to hold these people accountable.
Exactly. There's plenty of evidence. That's not the
We
problem.
need courage.
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody sack up. We
Yep.
are sacking up.
We don't
You
need
should sack
evidence,
up
we
too.
need courage because we already have the fucking evidence.
Yes.
I'm like, do you need to see the actual video of things
They wouldn't
going
even
in
believe
holes?
that, would
I
they?
don't know. AI.
It's AI.
And I'm like, I know that mushroom head anywhere. I'm done. Sorry.
Here's my larger world view, honestly, and this is a little doom and gloomy, but I believe that they think they have so much power that all of this is still coordinated. It's coordinated leaks, it's coordinated narratives that keep us distracted so we can move closer to their goal for them. As long as we're paying attention to UFC events, we're paying attention on the White House lawn, we're paying attention
Bread and circus.
to green reflecting pools, Trump's name on the Kennedy Center. We're not paying attention. There's so much, they're muddying the waters. So it's so hard to clearly see what's going on. And they will continue to do that, just like this. How can they, honestly, when they had in July last year, July 25th, I think it was, and they had that briefing in a skiff or
The briefing.
yes, and all these people are involved in trying to cover up, the top people in our nation, not just anybody, the vice president, the chief of staff, and a number of other people were involved in discussing how they were going to cover up and protect the pedophile president from
Right.
being revealed. And information still leaked out of that. Supposedly there's audios from that. And, this is the most secure room in the world we're talking about. We're not talking about...
We're talking about, just in case folks haven't heard it. Yeah, they're talking about when it first came to light, like the depravity that was in the Epstein files that was about to drop. It hadn't dropped yet.
And this is nearly a year ago.
Yeah, and J.D. Vance was like, we just need to come clean about all of it and just get in front of it and admit that,
Well,
and
They're like, the nipple
nah.
story. I don't know.
that's why I think a lot of it's coordinated, the leaks and everything else. I think it's just one more way to keep us entertained, so to say, and distract us in a way that as long as the more crazy leak that's out there, the more likely we are not to pay attention to the most important parts of it. And and I think it's funny. I last year when Artem Klushin came after me because of the thread I wrote about Krasnov and everything else. And he spent 3 days. He had created that AI story about me where the story doesn't end well for me. But essentially the point of the story at the end was the fact that I was just as much of a devil doing what I do by sharing information, and I was contributing to all of this in a way that wasn't helping anything. That was my overview of that story, as if, yes, even your role in this is helping it along. that's kind of how I took the end of that story. Is ultimately my horns were revealed, and my response to the post was my halo or my the horns hold up my halo. I'm not perfect.
Right.
The horns hold up my halo. I like that.
The difference is the intention of what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I am doing it for good, not for bad. That
For
is the
sake of
difference.
justice.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I am concerned at times sometimes when I share information because I don't want it to be more noise in the chamber. I want it to be something that people start really pay attention to, understand the importance of it. I want to make sure I'm not going to be kicked off here, and share the information. That's key. Until we start sharing the information and getting people to understand this information, we're not going to start to make inroads on anything. And I'm talking beyond social media. So,
Right, and until the average person stops saying, "So what? How does this affect me?" It's difficult to get much traction.
When your bitch ass gets a cease and desist letter, you give a shit then. But we're trying to help you not get that. You know what I'm saying? And the media silence really is,
Yeah.
it's showing us that it absolutely has to be us.
yeah. And we have the power. I mean, how can little old me, Tony
Literally.
Gonzalez, Anthony Andrews, whatever you want to call
Call me whatever you want.
sitting in my little office, gain the attention of the president to an extent that I have? It's because I've been speaking truth. So
Literally, and that's the thing is the fact that the very interesting part is the things that they're deciding to say ruined their whatever reputation, and none of it has to do with trafficking or pedophilia. It's all like the cocaine. Don't you be saying that. And so it's just very weird and random. And also, that last letter that you got literally looked like a Donald Trump Truth Social post. So maybe he wrote it. I don't know. Or they're write this in Donald Trump's AI voice, okay? Please.
yeah. Well, and Amanda and I have talked about it a little bit, and we both think that Paulo was behind the letter. It came from a Florida attorney, although that attorney has been involved in high-profile defamation cases regarding the president. We still think Paulo was probably the instigator of that itself. And I also understand, one of the things I've considered is the fact that, it came literally, it was created literally a month to the day after I received Paulo's
cease and desist.
So I believe it may be part of a coordinated effort that might in the future still lead to some sort of litigation.
Sure.
Again,
yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, you probably haven't seen the last of it, but
yeah, and I'm prepared. I mean, I'm not a wealthy man. I don't have money to fight the president or compensate the president. Even I have a Kia he can have. He'll put it out on the White House lawn. It'll get stolen within a few minutes. Obviously.
Yeah. They could do drag racing. Well, it is Pride Month, so they could do some drag races around the White House. We could
they
hit
had a
some
wreck
of
there
the.
yesterday, didn't they? There was did you see
oh
there?
my god, oh my god.
Okay, before we get off, I do want you to touch on a little bit of some of these escort services that we were seeing online that might have part. We're not going to name any names or whatever, but what have you found out about these escort services, or what are they calling them?
Companions or whatever.
This is a concept that's as old as time, right? So
one of the things that kind of became a little more clear once this whole Melania Epstein escort stuff dropped is nobody's really looked at that aspect of what seems to have been going on. And again, I've looked at a lot of the files. I work with a group that looks at the files, and we're always sharing information. And one of the things that keeps popping up is all these very high-profile women connected to these things. You look at, Naomi Campbell, you look at some Norwegian princesses, some Austrian princesses, Swedish princesses, and they're all very connected to Jeffrey Epstein, even to the extent that he was funding their lifestyle in some cases, possibly even funding educations, which he did with some of his assistants. So they were grooming these women in a way to be companions of high profile individuals, whether it be oligarchs, whether it be foreign leaders, or people with influence. And I think this is a whole entire piece of this that hasn't been investigated. And to me, it's almost like it appears to be somewhat almost a high-end escort service. And I say that because once I started digging a little bit into the files, one thing about Jmail with the Epstein files is it's fun to just throw in random ass words and then just see what pops up. So I threw in escort, and I started a bunch of stuff started coming up. And Epstein actually had email correspondence with various people, including that Bin Salyam guy. Who's prominent in the files. Literally sharing links of high-profile escort services.
Subtle.
So I have found.
Well, okay, what I was thinking though is like, okay, so they can legally do the escort services. That's the thing, is like they can make shit tons of money off that because they're basically pimping out these women to these rich men. But they can advertise legally.
Yes.
And the other half of where they probably made more of their money was the child trafficking part, because it's illegal. They could not advertise for it. That's why we have the island. That's why we have the tunnels. That's why, so it is interesting to see both business models doing the same thing, just of age, legally advertising versus, we got to be quiet about this because it's a little too bad here. But
and I'm not going. You had mentioned Lisa about the oldest profession in the world, and I'm not berating any person who is in any consensual situation that they.
Go be a sugar baby. Times are tough.
Yes, exactly. If there's a daddy out there, I'm sorry, Randy.
Yeah. Hey,
But,
I'll split it halfsies, babe.
On that note, it's not new by any way, shape, or form for wealthy networks and powerful networks to match their kids up for relationships to continue those wealthy networks, right?
Yes.
We've seen princesses and kings, and we've been seeing that since the beginning of time too.
Would say the problem with that is, are these women actually consensual in this, or have they been groomed literally since they were babies within these rich bloodline families to be this? Like, have they ever had freedom? It's their mind slaves from a young age, and that's the problem. Like, did they ever even have freedom?
Well, and that's exactly it. I think Ivanka is the best example of something like that. This is the environment that they were literally lived in their entire lives. I mean,
they know nothing else.
They know nothing else. So it seems in their mind possibly to be just part of the process of their life.
Yeah, it's just the circus they were raised in, right?
And
and to deconstruct that is so painful and hard. Just being normal and being able to escape it, but they're never going to be able to escape it. Death is the only escape.
Well, and it's the one thing with all of that too is it's one thing to be part of that system and everything else. It's another thing to actually have morals and values.
And I'm seeing Ivanka's daughter sitting next to Donald Trump because Ivanka aged out. And I feel so bad for her, and she never even had a chance.
Nope, but she's still promoting her grandfather. I mean, I saw a picture of her on a private jet yesterday with Donald, and she said she's proud to be that she's with her grandfather, Donald Trump.
He's like, "Give me your phone. I'm posting this, or you ain't getting any of the trust." Okay. Well,
anyway.
Yeah. No nipples. Leave the nipples out of it. Okay. I guess that's a good place to wrap this up.
I can't think of a better place than that.
But I did think of a better place, and I just want to know, since it is Donald's birthday, who is giving him his 80 spankings on that diaper?
Ew.
Who's doing it?
Oh, it's that blonde lady that's been all around him. Or it'll be Laura Loomer while she gives him a...
Ew.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. We don't need a letter about that. Ew.
Oh, God.
It's not of your life. She comes up.
Shitty.
Stop it.
Spray
Come on.
tan and some brown. I'm done. Okay. But I'm just saying, thoughts and prayers for whoever has to do those 80 spankings. You might want to break them up. Maybe everyone can do 10. Okay. Well, on that note, thank you, Tony, for all the updates.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone tuning in for us talking smack here on the While We Still Can pod. We appreciate you.
Like and subscribe.
We know you are watching, people.
Yeah. Let us know if you have any ideas for future episodes.
If you're
going to
send Tony
drop a
another
DM.
The least you can do is hop on and buy a While We Still Can pod or mug. Or, I mean, a hat or a mug.
Yeah. Please. Fund our shit talking. Okay. All right, guys. Well, go enjoy the weather unless you're at the UFC fight and there's a tornado. Then
in that case, that's your own fault. Poor choice. Bye.